I'd like to introduce from Otoy. Where's Jules? I saw him earlier. Hey, Jules, come up here. Jules Urbach, he is the CEO of Otoy. He's the founder of Otoy.
This particular window has 112 GPUs connected to it. Now, you don't need all those GPUs at once. In fact, we can service many customers. It's completely elastic. But when you want to render that frame, you should take, as Jensen was saying.
Now, by the way, the fact that all of this graphics is done in Southern California,
yeah,
and we're looking at it like this,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's already pretty cool.
Yep. And thank you.
Exactly.
Yep. And thank you.
Exactly.
Yep. And thank you.
Exactly.
And now we're heading into a world with real-time rendering AI. It's really kind of hard to predict, how massive GPU computing is going to change things.
Yeah, that was the CEO of Render, guys. Perhaps the next biggest crypto on the entire market that will break the top 10. And that's because of a major announcement that just came out today from their CEO in a Telegram post. Render almost touched $10 today, currently sitting at $8.94. This is leading our portfolio. Of course, closely behind it, you can see Clore and OpSec are going to be following pretty closely, as they're also in that DPIN category. And we're going to be diving into all three of these projects today. But Render, first and foremost, guys, breaking frickin' news. Render CEO Jules Urbach just confirmed that his 15th NVIDIA GTC will be his most relevant yet. For you guys that don't know, the GTC is going to be what Machine Alpha pointed out right here. This is where Jules is speaking back in 2013. This is actually present day. This is within the last couple of years. But his first response, his first time here with Jensen, who is the CEO of NVIDIA, was in 2013. Yes, he will be speaking again at this event in March, which is just a week or so away. He will reflect on the shift to distributed GPU systems, which is huge. This is why Render is pumping. If the Render team allows him, he will dive into AI on Render and share some very big news about the future of Render Network. That is why markets are pumping, guys. He says, I think it will be one of my most relevant GTC talks yet, and a reflection of the next paradigm shift we are entering for distributed GPU systems. That is in reference to, of course, Render. On par with one of the first back in 2013 when I took stage with Jensen to announce Render's centralized precursor, ORC, and then launched with both technically and philosophically, if for no other reason than I can, a much deeper dive into AI on Render. This is massive. The announcement that could come from this could very well be the biggest we've ever seen from Render. Is it an NVIDIA partnership? Who knows? We know he's been working closely with them for nearly the last decade, over the last decade, and this is where the speculation is coming into this price action. So is it too early to get into, is it too late to get into Render? Is the price action already on? Well, I'll be given a price prediction on this token as well as some other close competitors here in just a moment, but first, we need to understand what Render is. So if you guys didn't know, Render integrated Octane in 2022. Octane is from Otoy, which was what the CEO was talking about in this first initial speech in 2013. You can see down here at the bottom, it says Jules Urbach, CEO founder of Render and Otoy. That was the first introduction. So this was the first integration with Render Network. He ended up bridging it over with Octane Network back in 2022 on January 13th of 2023. They start diving into a lot more development with the two projects. Now, we don't really need to go over all the noise because I went over that in this Discover Crypto video, going in depth on exactly what Render provides, the network itself, how it operates. But I did find this very interesting video that I want you guys to watch from Jules on Render. What's the vision for Render? What's the point of democratizing the GPU cloud rendering? Because this is exactly what he is now going to be speaking at NVIDIA's panel later this month. And NVIDIA, guys, they've dropped many different presentations and articles and research papers on Octane itself, which he developed. And that integration, of course, is with Render now. And if you go to NVIDIA's website, check out the alpha right here. If you scroll down, you'll notice that it says the future of GPU rendering and real-time retracing. This is from 2020. This was the present day that we saw in that video of him speaking on stage. Well, look at this, guys. Future through Octane Render, Brigade Sculptron, and Bergen FX and render the token. It's on NVIDIA's website, one of the largest companies now in the world, the most talked about company in the world. Render is integrated on their website. It's wild to watch. So here's what he has to say.
Hi, this is Jules Urbach, CEO of Otoy. Otoy's been at the forefront of GPU rendering for almost a decade now. Our product, Octane Render, was one of the first GPU renders to provide cinematic realism to film jobs and television. Today, it's used in productions like the opening of Westworld, and it's also now a big part of video game development, especially for AR and VR. Octane is a very special GPU software. There's really no limit to the amount of compute power and render power that you can throw behind a render job with our software. Our idea is that at a certain point, scaling GPU rendering power is too difficult. Rendering locally on a network and even in the cloud just hit a wall. It's impossible to leverage all of the GPUs in the world efficiently without some sort of decentralized system that allows that to be tracked and managed. Today, we're very proud to introduce the Render Token, which is a ERC20 token that's based on the Ethereum blockchain. This token will allow anyone to participate in render jobs and be rewarded with render tokens that they can cash in. Everyone creating renders and creating content through this system has authorship and chain of title established on the blockchain permanently. Our goal is not only to create a distributed peer-to-peer network of unlimited rendering power, but also to have a marketplace where services and assets and even modules built on the rendering network can be distributed and shared and monetized by everyone. There's nothing that's going to be rendered through the render token that isn't coming from artistic or creative intent. That's the whole point of the service. So there's a lot that can be done beyond just creating great artwork and media or even video games with this technology. There's scientific simulations, light leaking simulations for architecture that can be built inside of the rendering system. And this means that you can actually perform render jobs that are useful for the sciences and for research and get rewarded at the same time. This is a great use of the blockchain and of everyone's GPU power. Our vision as a company has been to democratize compute and rendering power, and this is one of the best ways to do it.
What a crazy idea. I mean, obviously it wasn't crazy because he did it. He implemented it, guys. This is why Render is moving. Render is one of the most needed parts of blockchain technology. It's allowing him to democratize and scale GPU rendering at scales that just weren't possible before. And again, this is why we're seeing that price action to the upside with Render. All of the ties to NVIDIA. This is propping those prices up. So today, I know all you guys really care about is going to be the price action behind it. Is it too late to hop in Render after all of these partnerships and collaborations have been teased for years at this point? Well, looking at the chart, guys, this is coming off the announcement of Jules Urbach's Telegram tweets here, where he said that he will be speaking at GTC and more than likely talking about Render. Now, I think this was probably the last opportunity you're going to have to buy Render at under $6. When it wicked down just yesterday because of that flash crash we had on Bitcoin's price action, I don't necessarily know we'll see that again, but right now you'd be coming into the top part of this buying power. So we're in price discovery. Render has never seen these prices before, and going into the, of course, meeting or the presentation on March 15th, and just almost about 11 days from now, I do expect the price to kind of follow the buy the rumor, sell the news event, where we'll get this lead up to the, of course, presentation by Jules, and then a sell-off afterwards. At this point, we are in unknown territory. So if you want to draw your Fibonacci's and be a TA expert and try to trade that, you can go for it. But what I would pay attention to isn't Render right now. Render we've been talking about for months. If you followed us on Discover Crypto's channel, make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to this, and of course, check out this video. I'm pinning it right here for you. It's the one that is called These Altcoins Are Gonna Make You Rich Thanks to NVIDIA. It goes over all of the DPIN category, AI, why it's needed. And we called NVIDIA in this video for you guys, even though we were already in it for months before then, at like $4. So it's moved massively. But guys, I promise you, there is other projects in this network, and I believe there is more opportunity. So check this out. Looking at Clore AI. This is a project we've been following as well for a while. We talked about it in that last presentation. Clore AI isn't like Render right now. It is about to go into price discovery. Looking at this chart, we have a massive cup and handle that has pretty much taken place right here. Massive cup for the price action. We were talking about it for months right here. Not months, but it was at least in January to February. This is where we were accumulating. It ended up breaking out, and it formed this handle pattern right here that is now skyrocketing out of. So I do think Clore is still early if you're watching this and it's below that 25 cents. But if we do end up getting that handle stage, the upside to Clore is going to start moving into price discovery as well. So that's the only one that hasn't moved. The other token we talked about, which by the way, guys, Clore is another distributed supercomputer project looking to access GPU computing nodes from community members all around the world. They're using this for movie rendering, gaming, etc., AI training, mining, and we're even mining it in this office. So I'll be doing a video on that if you're interested. Let me know in the comments. But the other project we are warning you about was OpSec, which is might be Operation Secure. I don't know how to properly pronounce the what they're going for there because I'm not a person that's in the industry. But we're going to say OpSec right here. And it's $1.82. In that video, guys, it was sitting at about 55 cents. So today, when we peaked at almost $2.50, it has done nearly a 5x for you guys from that initial call out. So there is still plays in this industry. This one, of course, is already taken off pretty massively. It's sitting at a $234 million market cap. Clore right here is sitting at only roughly 60 million. Is going to be more so a direct competitor to Render, in my opinion. So if we get massive announcements out of Render on that GTC announcement just coming a week from now, guys, this is on March 15th. The next one will take place. I do expect to see Clore actually break out significantly to the upside from watching just these simple patterns here. And that doesn't even include what happens to Bitcoin's price action. So, of course, if we get a ton of upside on Bitcoin right here, that looks like we did buy up, right? We had this flash crash to the downside. Whales have been accumulating. BlackRock was buying. If we do break all-time high, guys, I do believe there's tons of upside still for projects like Core. And, of course, you can even head over to, if you click on Renders, go to Renders tab, guys, scroll down and click on their categories. You'll be able to check out the entire AI sector, which I don't actually see. Here's the tags right here. So you can see tags. If we click on Show All and we go ahead and go to the category it is in, which I'm going to click Generative AI right here, it's going to pop up the entire category for generative AI. And you'll see that Tau, Render, Fetch, Ajax, they're, of course, all the leaders here. And a way I like to find hidden gems that haven't moved yet is by clicking on the 24-hour volume right here and searching for the products that have lower market caps but tons of volume, because that could mean they're about to move as well. So, definitely check these out. Let me know what altcoins you're watching in the comments below. But Render, this announcement, guys, for Render is insane. And the price discovery here is something that we don't know. It's in unknown territory at this point. There's lots of price predictions, but what I know is that you're coming into the top. So even though it's labeled as the NVIDIA of crypto, guys, make sure you're diversifying and taking the chance and opportunity and diversifying that portfolio into similar projects as this trend emerges. And seriously, guys, if you want to stop missing out on all of these awesome opportunities, the next trend I believe that is going to be taking place is Bitcoin DeFi. So if you head over to my Twitter, what I want to show you here is if you click on the highlights tab, you will be able to see the threads that I create. And the one I made on February 19th is, of course, going to be the AI and deep in play. You guys would have been early to these markets, and you would have been able to get on a lot of these projects when they were at lower prices. Clore here was already at 23 cents, but we actually talked about this way earlier on the channel at about 6 cents. Of course, OpSec here was at 30 cents when we first talked about it, but is in 50 cents in this Twitter thread. But if you guys want to stop missing out on that opportunity, Arweave is at over $30 now, $15 in this thread. Make sure you guys go give us a follow on Twitter so you stop missing out on all that alpha. Other than that, I'll see you at the top.